What's up, ladies and germs? My name is Will from Ghosthack, and today I bring you 5 more tricks and tools inside of Serum that you probably don't know about. Now, a while back, I actually did a video like this where I was showing you 10 secret tips and tricks inside of Serum that you probably don't know about. Look at me, so small. And today I'm going to take that energy and kind of bring it back with 5 more little tricks and things that you can do inside Serum that most people, might not know about. Now, of course, when I say secret, these aren't meant to be secret. Like, I'm sure these can be found somewhere online. They're not Easter eggs or anything. And if you have found these before you've watched this video, congratulations. We're all proud of you. But it did take me a while to kind of figure out and find out these tools that are inside Serum, and I'd really like to share them with you guys because some of them are very interesting. So here it is, beautiful, lovely Serum in all its glory, and a lot of the tips and tricks that I'm going to show you today, I believe came with updates, since the last video that I made it, because Serum updates every now and then. Steve Duda goes in and, makes some updates, and it sort of grows and becomes the best synth that it can be, and I really admire Serum for that, and I admire Steve for doing that. The first one actually has to do with the noise oscillator and the just main oscillator, any oscillator A or oscillator B. This could work with both. Let's say you want to have 3 voices, kind of like Massive. You can have 3 saw waves happen with the sub, the oscillator A, and oscillator B. This technically means that you can design a chord. Like, let's say the sub is just going to play a saw wave right at the root, and then you can move this one up 3, and you can move this one up 7, and you have this chord playing by just hitting one note. But let's say you wanted to use the noise like another oscillator. Let's say I wanted to add another sort of oscillator here with an actual shape. I didn't want it to just be noise. Well, there's a really quick and easy way I can do it. I can go into any one of these oscillators. I can choose single, which is just going to choose this single cycle waveform. Even if you have a wavetable, it's just going to choose this one frame that you have selected, and it is going to say send to noise oscillator. So I can send it right to the noise oscillator, and now you can see it says default because it's just on the default saw wave right now. And now if we play, I'm just playing middle C. It's very low, so we have to pitch it up and then level it out. So let's just throw this at 75. Now you can see we're playing the saw wave with the noise oscillator. And now we can select this enable pitch tracking. And now we just have to key it into place. So right here it looks like it's hitting at the same note. So I'm just going to turn the sub down an octave. I'm going to turn oscillator A down an octave. I'm going to turn oscillator B down an octave. So now we have this. And then this is going to go on top. So now we have a beautiful 7th chord instead of just the 5th chord. And making 4 harmony chords in Serum is not just the one use for this. Even if you have some growly thing and you, let's say, take some growly weird wavetable. Like that, and you find the best frame in there. Let's say I think this is the best frame. I can have the noise oscillator play this growly frame. So we can go into single, send to noise oscillator, and here we are, it's right in the noise. Messing around with this pitch especially becomes fun now. And what it does is I believe it takes 4 cycles of this waveform and throws it right into the noise oscillator. So if we just hit this one-shot output, it plays just a little second of it, but in order to keep it looping, we have to make sure that's unselected. So that was trick number 1. Trick number 2 actually has to do with the LFOs and the oscillators, oscillator A and B. And what you can do is, let's say you have a fancy little LFO shape up here that you use to do, whatever it is that you're doing, any kind of modulation. And for some reason you thought, I wonder what it would sound like if this LFO could actually output sound on its own. Well, what you can do is you can hold Alt, you can click, and then you can drag it right onto an oscillator, and you have just copied exactly the shape here right into the oscillator, so you can hear what that would sound like. Now, there isn't a ton of utilitarian value that I have found from this. However, this could work pretty well if you have a specific shape in mind. Let's say you just wanted to do something like this, and it's easier to draw this out on an LFO than it is to go into the actual Wavetable editor and try to draw this. It really wouldn't be that hard at all, but let's say that you had some shape like that, and you just wanted to transfer that right into there. It's actually a pretty cool shape. And this is also the same mechanism that allows you to Alt, click, and drag onto a different LFO to copy exactly the same pattern. And so that was tip number 2. That was a pretty quick one, and I think that one has actually been around for a while. But the next one I want to show is one that I know definitely came with an update that was at least semi-recent. It isn't the newest update, but it was a semi-recent update, and that is the ability to control these dots right here. Let's say that you have this modulation. Let's just create a little modulation here. Let's go up 75. And let's say you wanted to automate this, you could 100% do that. All you have to do is take some automation. We'll say LFO2. I think LFO2 will be good. And so we can say modulate X, which is back and forth, and we can say LFO bus. And now let's say LFO2 for this right here. So LFO2 is now controlling the X value of this dot, which the X value is side to side and the Y value is up and down, and you can control them both separately. So now if we go into LFO2, you can see that we're kind of going up and down here just with a normal shape. So this thing should slide around. Just like that, but just for ease of teaching, just so it'll be a little easier to see, we'll have it jump around a little bit, and I'll say this is on trigger and have it be a little bit slower. So let's say this is on a half beat, this is on trigger as well. So there we go. You can see where it's jumping, and it's jumping to either side. And if you want to adjust the actual level, like how strong this modulation is, you can go into the matrix and control this LFO bus 1 here to make it smaller or bigger. And you can even add maybe some smoothing to this if you wanted to see the movement. Maybe a little more. Now, it's not super beneficial to add that smoothing. That was just to kind of show you the visual effect of it sliding back and forth, because this LFO2 is controlling the space of this dot. And however you choose to use that trick, it can be very, very handy. Especially I've found when you're making complex bass patches, you can make just slight changes to the modulation over time, and it's a lot of fun. The next thing I want to show I found completely on accident. What I was trying to do is I was trying to open the filter here, do something like this, and I wanted to see what the phases were, but I clicked, and I found that Serum actually has a visual EQ now. You can see exactly what you're doing and see exactly where those harmonics are. And if you click again, you can see the phases. You can see the phase change. Click again, that EQ goes away, and you're back with the normal one. But this is just super useful. And this EQ spectrum is probably something that Serum can improve on in the future. It's not the most accurate. It's not the most reliable one that I've ever seen in the world, but I think it is extremely useful. So that one was also pretty quick, but I confess I kind of saved my personal favorite for the last, because let me pull up kind of a complicated preset here. Well, this isn't exactly complicated, but this is a good way of describing what I'm saying. Let's say I made this little bird tweet in Serum, and I wanted to add it in my song, or I'm making some kind of ambience and I wanted to add that in there, but I wanted it in audio form, not MIDI. Normally, I would just put down some MIDI notes and record it out, but Serum has a really interesting feature. You can go right up here. It's completely hidden. You can just go right up here, and if you move your mouse in the corner, you see this thing right here, which is drag to export. And what this does is it takes the last note that you pressed and it renders it as audio, and you can drag it. You can click and drag from this little spot right into your project. Like, let's say I wanted that. That's the last note that I clicked. So let's go up here. Let's click and drag. right into FL Studio, and we have the audio file. It automatically exports it out. It leaves the tail with the reverb. It cuts it right where it needs to be. That's just a super, super useful feature that's just hidden right up there in the corner. You don't even see it. This is just where the zoom is, but this is right there. Again, it's something I just stumbled on just on accident. I didn't know this was there, and I think this could be really useful, especially when you're doing sound design and you're making little sound effects like this that you might just want in audio form. And you can do this over and over again. I could do a, and then let that fade out, and then drag it and drop it right there, and I have 2 bird tweets. So there we are. I know that is a little bit of a shorter tutorial. It's a little simpler. It's not very complex, but I really wanted to share those tips because I thought they were just super useful. And I feel like anyone who uses Serum could really benefit from at least a couple of these. Like, there are some really cool secret functions. And that's one of the beauties of Serum as a synthesizer is even after I've been using it, I've been using this synth for years. Even after I've been using it for so long, I keep finding out little things about it, and it keeps getting awesome updates, and it's just really fun to work with. So if you have any tips and tricks inside of Serum that you like to share, if there are any hidden functions and features and cool stuff that other people can benefit from, leave them in the comments down below. We'd love to take a look at them, and we know that a ton of other producers would as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Happy producing.